Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Cassidy.
Hi, welcome to our mini reading event today. It is, what's the date today? 6th of September?
Yes.
7th of
Already?
6. Yeah.
Yeah. If you didn't realize it was September, we're almost a week in already. And I think it's actually a new moon today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
What time? Has it happened
It's
yet?
at 8:51 tonight in Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, excellent. So I haven't missed it yet. Good.
Now that's
Awesome.
right. Yeah, it's early hours of the morning tomorrow here. So yeah, that would be right.
Beautiful. Cool. So in our mini reading fashion, I'll just be taking questions and requests, anything that anybody wants to ask. I have a couple of decks in front of me. 2 of them are Rider-Waite decks. One of them is just the regular yellow box one. The other one is the one I did my most recent deck comparison video on. It's that, what's this one? The RWS Pamela Colvin Smith deck. So I have that one because I want to try reading with that a little bit more. I'm also using, just because it's September and I can, Mildred Payne's Secret Pocket Oracle. I've had this before at festivals and stuff. It's just got like little different images like the sun.
I want that deck.
I do too. It's so pretty. And then I've also got just my Marseille deck as well. This one is the Jean Noblet Tarot as reconstructed by Jean-Claude Flournoy. I've also done a video on that. Anyway, my favorite Marseille deck on the market. Anyways, that's what I've got in front of me. I don't know what I'll end up using. It'll depend on your questions, but does anybody have a question I can get started with today?
Well, I can start if you want. If you guys you were muted, but so yeah, I'll go first. Then I'll just barge right in. Okay, so Khalid said something in my first reading about like my career path going down, like very much connected to death and spirituality and the idea of insubstantiality of things. But anyway, that made me think. And so what I want to know is, I have 3 possible creative things I could be doing right now that they all deal with spirituality in a way as well, and they're all writing ideas. One is the book on voice technique in relation to Buddhism and magic, and the second one is a book about my path through the bipolar breakdown over the past it was past decade is when it kind of went from here to there and then back up again. But anyway, so write about that experience. Or the third one would be to write a novel. I started thinking about it like a couple of years ago, and it would deal with spirituality and stuff as well. So, and then, or if you, as you're reading, you find a 4th option that comes out of nowhere, or something else that comes to mind. So there's the voice technique, the personal bipolar, the novel, or whatever.
Bipolar, novel. Is there a topic of your novel that you were thinking of? Is it fiction, nonfiction?
It is. It would be fiction. It would be. It's about. It deals with senior and high school cellist preparing to go to college, meeting another person, having a relationship with this other person, and going in. It's in 2020, so it's the year that these kids going through their high school year. They lose their senior year through 2020. It's about the relationship with the boy. It's about the boyfriend is more of a freer spirit, more of a spiritual person. Is going to kind of enlighten the musician boy, open him up to what music is and stuff like that. That's like the rough thing that's kind of developed over the past 3-4 years. So yeah.
Fabulous, juicy, excellent question, and very well asked. Thank you for the background. That's super helpful. So this yields itself very well to a kind of this or that or that or that type of a reading. And I guess like from what I gather from you, it's not that you would only do one of them, but you kind of want to know more. Which one should you focus on now, kind of a thing? Okay, fabulous. And then do you have considerations that would make your decision for you? Like, would one of them be your overall fulfillment with the project now and how it would be received? Or is there some sort of specific purpose you would base your decision on if you knew about each of these decisions?
Yeah, the main thing for me is because they're all there, they're all ready to go. I have the ideas for all of them. And it's like I've got the raw materials. I just, because of part of the bipolar is being like all over the place and not knowing what to do. So I'm like, I have it all, but I'm like, I just don't. I need to know what to focus my time on, rather than, because all I do is I start one thing and then I'm like, oh, I do another. Which great, I probably could do it all at different times, but I just want to know which one would be the best one to invest my energy in right now.
Okay. Great. So anytime I hear a should question, I kind of want to know what the outcome of said should be. So if someone says like, which job should I take? I'll say what's important to you, like the money, the
Yeah.
hours you work for. So in answering of your should, would it be like that you feel like you could make the most headway with if you started it, that you would be the most fulfilled on that project at this particular time? Is there anything more specifically you can ask? I'm happy to leave it relatively general, but if there's, I'm kind of thinking like I'll do 2 cards for each. So if you have a ending to your should, do you have anything?
Yes, I do. I really do. That would work. Yeah, something that could be produced and published. Something that could actually be productive. That could not just something that I would start and go back to later, because I've already started all of them in a way. Which one, if I started now, could I get to the finish line with first?
Cool. Okay, so greatest potential to be published.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Okay, so I think that's probably what I'll do then. I'll do 2 card positions sort of for each one. And then the first card position being show me its publishability potential, the potential to be published. So that'll be card 1. So show the potential to be published. And then the second one, do you have anything else? Because otherwise I'll just say like how happy you'll be working on a particular project like at this time, like what fits best with what you're wanting to accomplish right now.
That works for me. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Level of happiness / fulfillment with each project. Focusing on it at like now. Focusing on it at this time. I'm taking a lot of notes. I'm not just staring off into the distance here. Fabulous.
Oh, you're great. This is wonderful.
Cool. So we have our 3 first options you want to know in terms of writing a book on voice technique, either your path through your personal experience, a fictional novel. I'll start with those 3 and we'll see how they look. If none look particularly promising, I will then ask, for a 4th option if it seems necessary. But these 3 seem like you've like you said, you've got the raw materials for them. They're kind of worth your time at this point. And then what I also want to do is I'll do 2 cards for each. And then I'm going to have 1 card that can just say, I'm going to straight up ask like, which option should you take? Which writing project should you focus your time on? Which hopefully we'll be able to see that in those cards that were given. But with that 1 extra one, I want to see if one particularly fits. So which project should Kevin focus on now? That'll be our last card after we've kind of done the reading on the first 3. So excellent. I love this. So card 1, 3 options: the voice technique, the personal path, or the novel. Card 1, showing me the potential for each of these projects to be picked up by a publisher, published and sold, and what level of happiness or fulfillment you'll have, focusing your time and energy on each one of these projects. Should you start them now? The voice technique, the path, your personal path and experience, or the novel. For Kevin. Which writing project should he spend his time on? Voice technique, personal experience, novel. And our last card, which option should he take? All right. What I already love about this deck is the backs are completely reversible. So I have no clue if they're upright or reversed as they're face down right now. Score 1. So option number 1. So on the voice technique, the ability for it to be published. The Knight of Pentacles reversed. I think the idea is solid. I think it's what you'd be able to produce would certainly be of value, but in terms of, will someone pick this up and take it somewhere for me? The Knight of Pentacles is saying this one's having some trouble making a move. I wanted to see a card here that was potentially dynamic. Well, not that what I wanted, you know, if it was this would be a good publishing idea, I would have expected to see something a little more dynamic. But I think this is saying like what you have is certainly a valuable project and something that could have the potential in the future to get picked up. But at this time, it just looks, I think it's what are we going to call this? Like its potential to be published seems not particularly high at this time, if this is the one that you were to get started with. And the reason why I'm getting from that, and I didn't even really ask a reason, but it just seems like the climate for this type of work. And either if it's because like things are maybe still locked down, or it's people aren't picking up books on this, or there's, I don't know. To me, this is just kind of saying the timing isn't particularly right to get this project published. I don't think it's the time for this one to particularly shine at the moment. I think it's a great idea, and I think it's certainly valuable. Publishability seems a little bit low, I think, with that particular card. So your personal path through your experience. Okay. This one I think has a lot more potential comparatively to the last option. I have the 5 of Cups here in reversed. Yeah. That's kind of interesting though. Because I'm also getting a sense of like climate for this type of work versus your ability to get published in this particular space. And it looks to me like this is a better fit. I don't know if I maybe wouldn't have said that in essence, but like the personal experience and the path that you're wanting to write about in this project, it seems like it'll get heavy at certain points. And it seems like it's something that other people who have gone through a very heavy experience can certainly relate to, and maybe they haven't found something else in this space that talks about what you're going to talk about as much as real as it is to actually experience it. Between these two options, this looks like this would be a better option of something that could get published, I would say. And it looks like you'd be able to find it in a space with, I don't know, I'm getting kind of like up and coming, smaller publishing house kind of a feel from this. Someone who's kind of specializing in this space of starting to talk more about these kinds of topics. Yeah, I think there's a realism to this that is needed in the world right now to express kind of what you've been through in a book. So that one I think has a stronger possibility of being published. The last one being the novel. Okay. Of the 3, I would say now the novel has the highest possibility of being published, followed by the personal story, followed by the voice technique book. Here I have the Lovers card upright. So I can't help but feel like this would be an excellent possibility to be published. Here's the thing that you're talking about. You said there's a bit of a love story-esque in it.
I was gonna say it's a love story.
Yeah. So, and there, I mean, the publisher being able to kind of present it to the right audiences. I think this is a great idea. I think the way you would present it seems to be like you'd submit it and that you'd get a response like, this is just what we're looking for, kind of thing like that. It just seems very appropriate for the publishing house you would reach out to and find. So yeah, just publishing wise, I would say hold off on the voice technique, and these two are a better option. This one, I think, being the strongest option to be able to be published.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you feel about doing each of these and the level of fulfillment? So for the first one I have is the 6 of Swords upright. the sense I'm getting from this, it's almost like I have this experience in this area, so I do want to put it into a book, but in order like to really put my energy in this path right now seems a little bit like I feel like I need to, like I owe it to the amount of experience I have in this space. It just looks like you do it and it might go well, but I'm not picking up on, I'm pouring my heart into this right now for the sake of myself, pouring my heart into this. It just seems at the moment like it's interesting and I think you would enjoy it, but I'm picking up on it more as the enjoyment you would get out of it is as a paying respect to the experience that you have in this space. And it's something that you do want to pursue and actually put out there at some point. But that seems to me the motivating for it. I am doing this because I have this experience and therefore I want to put it out there rather than I'm just so passionate about this at this time that I want to put it out there. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it really does. And it's interesting because with the first option, it's almost like I think I've got more years to grow and develop as a teacher and start presenting more rather than writing it. So that way the presentations can develop into the writing for that one. It seems really awesome. Oh, yeah, keep going. Yay.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Next option. So how would you feel about publishing your personal experience book, the level of fulfillment you would have from it? Ooh. Okay. So even though just from the publishability, I would say that the novel option seems to be the best. What you would personally experience in writing down your personal experience and what you've gone through, I think would be very spiritually profound. I really think there would be a lot of additional healing and additional self-discovery that you would find through that. And I think even writing about the darker and more challenging times, it's going to kind of take you right back there and relive and re-go through and maybe re-heal things that were just coped with, or you figured out how to get through it at the time. The level of fulfillment I'm getting from this card is not, oh, this is so nice, it makes me feel so happy, but this is like a deep and soulful and transformational type of feeling you would get from doing this kind of work. I have the 8 of Cups here in reverse. So it's kind of more, it would take you more into yourself, into the different parts of your mind, into, I think the fulfillment from this one would be challenging and very profound rather than happy-go-lucky necessarily. I think this is really, really worth your time to do. And I think this does need to be put on a page at some point. But yeah, I think when you go to embark on, and I'm not saying the whole story is dark and challenging, but where it will take you and what it will bring up for you, I think is going to be very profound in doing that level of work when you actually put that to paper. So yeah, I just feel very strongly you do need to do this one at some point. that will show you something more about yourself, something more about your place in the world. It just, yeah, I think you'll really work through some stuff by doing that particular, writing that particular book. Does that make sense so far? That one as well. Okay, great.
Yes, very much so.
And the level of fulfillment you would have with writing this this fictional story. Oh, okay, this one seems a little more, I'm not even gonna say happy-go-lucky, but we got the King of Cups here upright. I got the King of Cups sitting beside the Lovers here for this option. So if you're looking for something that will kind of bring you in, and I think this is where it puts you back in the driver's seat of picking which one you actually want to go for. Publishability, again, this last option seems the strongest, but if you're looking to kind of dive deeper into self and kind of go that road, I would say your second option looks really strong. But if you're looking to just really pour your heart out, just really get this one out, enjoy the process, like have this be something that is not cumbersome, because this one isn't going to come without its, I need to stop for a while. This one I could see more like every day you're so excited when you get home and get a chance to like spend writing this particular thing. I think this last option is going to be easier for you to always like consistently find the motivation to actually get the project completed. So yeah, I mean, when we're talking about fulfillment and we have the King of Cups upright on the table, I feel like that will bring you like a very deep sense of joy and satisfaction to do this last project. So
Yeah.
I want to see, which one should you do? Well, isn't that interesting? Yeah. All right. Okay. My initial thoughts on this one was it was saying so clearly to go with the last option. Because it's almost the same card as one of the cards in the last one, although it's completely different. The other, oh man. But now the more I look at it, I think what is best for you to do at this time is to do these second two options in tandem.
I was just thinking that in the last one you're saying. Yeah, like they'll play off of each other because one's fun and easygoing, whereas the other one will have its moments where I've got to step back, do soul searching and stuff like that. So just use them and trade them off. Yeah. I think it's very important for it to pull this personal experience story through to have this other one going at the same time. Here are the devil card. So I'm like, I mean, it's almost exactly the same as the lover card in some senses of the word, but at the same time, it's joining the two projects, the one that's challenging and the one that's impassioned and exciting. That would be what the cards are saying you should go for, is the last two at the same time. Yeah, I think that one's quite clear. Yeah, that's great. It's funny because like, and that's what I was, that was actually the order in my mind that I think they would be, but now I just feel much more confident. But last night I had the idea of, so I had the idea of this novel a long time ago, but now what I'm doing is to help develop the characters, I'm using their astrology. So I use the tarot to decide their birth date based off of the time zone of the year. Then I went like, so once it gave me the 9-10 days zone, then I picked a number and then that was their birth date. Then I pulled numbers for the times and then based off of the characters where they're from. So I did that. So I got charts on most of the characters and I'm going to go off of that and I'm going to use tarot to kind of develop the story more to help myself do that. So that was last night. I kind of got excited about it, but I have to be careful because it could be a mania and it might be something that doesn't really go anywhere. But I think what we're talking about with the two, it'll be really fun to do both and that'll be awesome. That was fun. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think that's going to be a good experience to do both of those at the same time. It looks, and also the last thing I'm getting just from that devil card is you can, I know your fictional story about a high school student in 2020 is not about you, but weaving and incorporating some of the healing that's done through your personal story into that story gives it an extra breadth of expression for what that book can bring forward, but also it does something for you as well.
Yeah, so that makes sense. They do have a similarity to it.
Yeah, weaving certain parts of your personal experience into that book, although still being fiction, but that'll help with the whole process as well.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was really fun. Oh my goodness.
That was good.
Awesome. Excellent question. Thank you for the context. Thank you for the well-articulated questions. Pleasure to read for you, Kevin.
Thank you. It was wonderful.
Excellent. Who else has a question? Mandy said she'll be right back. She's grabbing her charger. Sharon, do you have a question today?
I do, but I'll let Mandy see if she has one first.
Okay.
You're on mute.
My computer was about to switch off. Sorry. That was great. Kevin's reading. That was amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, that was
really good. So I look forward to reading these, Kevin.
Yeah,
me too.
It's funny because with tarot, the first time I got a tarot reading, the guy, he kind of read me and he said something about writing. I was like, ooh, writing. And he's like, oh, you're going to write a lot. But then I felt like he was kind of like pandering to me. So then I had this insecurity. But lately I've gotten this, the confidence to be like, I can write. So now I just trying to figure out which ideas. So that was wonderful help, Cassidy.
Marvelous. So I do have a question, unless you want to go first, Sharon.
No, that's fine.
You sure? Okay, so mine is advice, Cassidy. I've got this event on this weekend, 2-day event. I'm doing astrology at a very big mind, body and spirit festival.
Nice.
And yes, so it would be the first time that I've done astrology in a festival situation. And I'm not too worried about this next bit, but I have agreed to do sort of on the first day a half-an-hour talk on astrology. I mean, that it doesn't particularly worry me too much, but I wouldn't mind a bit of kind of like advice from the universe on, you know, anything that's going to, I just want to make the most of it, because this was all signed up for and paid for before COVID even was on this planet. And it was all supposed to happen in April 2020, and I'd booked it all months and months before that, and then it all went wrong, and finally it's happening this weekend. So yeah, it's quite a big deal, and I don't want to kind of like come out of it thinking, oh, I wish I'd done this or I wish I hadn't done that, you know. So yeah, anything relating to it.
Excellent.
Great, thank you.
So relating to just the talk specifically, or the weekend as well?
I would say mainly to the whole weekend, but perhaps yeah, I mean, I'm kind of pleased that they've put me down to do the talk on the Saturday morning.
Yeah.
How many people will come to both days of the event, I don't know, but yeah.
Cool. So the question being, how can you make the most out of the weekend, and just some advice surrounding that. And then do you want like an additional one on just an advice for the talk?
Yeah,
maybe
if you've got time. Thank you.
Advice for the talk. All right.
But no tarot at all. They didn't want any tarot. Apparently they've got plenty of tarot readers there. So
yes,
yeah.
That's another reason why I want to really learn astrology, because I've gone to look at different festivals and they say like we're booked out for card readers. Do you do anything else? Like, no. Cool. So I like this. This is a great question. So we want to know how Mandy can make the most of this event.
I'm going to mute you in case the dog barks or anything.
Sure. So I'm going to do a little spread that I've been just loving lately, where I essentially lay 3 cards to just say like something, say some advice, give me something that's relevant to let you know about this event. And then there's a card on top in the do position and a card on the bottom in the do not do position. So sometimes knowing what not to do is just as relevant as knowing what to do. So let's take a look at this. So for Mandy's 2-day astrology event, or 2-day event this weekend at the Mind Body Spirit Festival, where she's doing astrology, how can she make the most of this weekend? Cards in the center. What is something she should certainly do? Mandy make the most of her astrology event this weekend at the Mind, Body, and Spirit Festival. Make the most of this event. Not do. Make the most of this event. Do not do this. Excellent. And finally, just one card on advice for your talk on Saturday morning. Talk Saturday. Fantastic. All right. So what have we got here? How can you make the absolute most of this weekend? Advice, guidance, things that you need to be aware of. Okay, let me take a look at this. The first thing I get for this immediately is to make sure you have a flawless, foolproof, bulletproof system for handling your queue. Handling if people want to be able to register for readings with you, whether that's like a board with a sign-up sheet, laying out your you brought that up before, like your payment methods and things like that. But the first thing I see is like, don't waste any time. If someone, like you're giving a session to someone and people are, oh, how do I book with her? And then it just kind of takes your mind to different places because you can see people kind of wanting your attention. Really have something foolproof, a way that people can book. And the other thing I get from this is to not schedule breaks in between if you can help it. Like if you maybe normally want to do like 2-3 minutes in between to give a time changeover, it seems like there could be some time lost in something like that. If you book 20-minute sessions and give 5 minutes in between, I would say plan for, and in your preparation for what you're going to bring to the event, if you're doing 20-minute sessions, have it 10 o'clock, 10:20, 10:40, like be very structured with your time slots and make the most of your time, making sure that you're paid for the duration of the event as much as you can be. I'm just curious, and I'm gonna follow up with you. I want to know how many Leos come to you, because I do have the strength card here. Just let me know if you're dealing with a number of Leos in your queue. What else do I see here with this? Okay, there's also a note here. So one of them being having a good way to deal with your queue of people. The other one is to make sure you have a easy and or substantial and or easy to find, easy to see for other people. It's just like you need a big promotional banner or poster, something where it's very easy if people can't get a hold of you at the event, or even if they do and want something further, just make it very clear. And I'm getting this clearly, make it very clear from a distance that people, if they're standing 10-15 feet away from your booth, they can see what your website is, how to phone you, how to contact you. Just make everything big, blow it up. That's another thing I'm seeing with this. Another way to make the most of your weekend. Oh, sorry, I don't think I said this. So the 3 cards I have just in the center, I've got the Strength card, I have the 4 of Swords upright, and I have the 8 of Cups in reverse. So these are the cards I am working with for the messages I'm getting so far. Other ways to make the most of this weekend. Just go right out there and say it. Make sure you're well rested. You can get a good night's sleep before and in between if possible. The other thing too with that Strength card and that 4 of Swords, just a funny little side message is like, if you can, don't forget to feed yourself. Don't forget to like have some kind of snack during the day, and or if you can plan, like you get home and your dinner's already made, so you heat it up and get to go to bed. The other thing I'm seeing that is just make sure you take very good care of your personal nourishment throughout the event, to be able to deal with the demand of time that people are going to be wanting to book with you. What else do I see here? It's also cool because you have like Mandy on the moon, and we got like our moon here. I like that. That's kind of where I was getting that big promotional banner thing from, is sort of between this and then the moon, and it being sort of way in the distance. Like if you have small signage, make big signage. Make sure people can read from afar. What else do I see? Anything else coming from these 3 cards? Well, I'll keep going with the reading and see if anything else comes from them, but that's what I'm getting so far. That making sense and such for what you're planning on? Okay, excellent.
Yes, no, that's spot on. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I you have reminded me, because it's not on my list. I do need to make a sign up chart, actually.
Mm.
And have it on the side with a pen so people can put their names down.
Yeah. Maybe a couple of pens.
Yeah.
Just so that
Yeah.
nothing can wreck that flow, because that's going to be something that your time, because you don't have an assistant, right? It's just you at your booth and people will be signing up. Yeah. So as much as you can keep the administrative stuff just easy and flowing, that seems to be very, very key. The other thing, I don't know if you set up the table or have a number of seats in front of you, like if you have 1 person or 2 people. I don't know why is that relevant? Why did I just say that?
I might only have 2 chairs, like me and the person.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I won't really know that till I get there.
Maybe in your offerings, in your in your ad, in what you're posting for what you're offering, maybe make something very clear that it's like 1 chart per session or 1 chart per thing. Because I have a sneaky little nudgy here that if it's, oh, I'm booking a 20-minute session, me and my friend can both get 10 minutes and we'll have her do 2 charts. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a brilliant observation. Yes.
It's being very clear with your sign-up sheet and your advertising exactly what is option, like single birth chart for 20 or like whatever it is you're offering. Clear.
I was thinking of saying in the 20 minutes, it's going to be 20 minutes. They can have a mini birth chart reading. I'm going to put 1 mini birth chart reading or 1 mini what's coming up reading, right? I'll try and do the perfections, like what's coming up. So I won't even try to analyze their birth chart at all. It's if they give me their dates, I will look at kind of what's coming up. Or I will do 1 specific date reading. If they've got something coming up on a specific date, I will look at how that affects their birth chart.
Nice. And maybe in your sign up sheet, you have like their name, their time, and which thing they're signing up for or something. But I like too that you're saying there's 3 things on the wall. I'm doing this or that. That's what I'm doing.
Same price, but they choose 1 or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Just keeping that crystal clear.
Yeah.
In your advertising I think that'll help. Okay. Something to do this weekend and to make the most of it. Yeah. So this really points to my schedule as few breaks or things in between as you can. I have the Knight of Swords.
I think I agree with that. And I think therefore I need to maybe schedule in a couple of toilet breaks.
Yes.
Because if I just need to, in case I need to just stretch or something, or go to the toilet. Do you know what I mean? But if I need to stretch or have a drink or just, Yeah.
Be very scheduled about your time, that you know that for these hours I am in session and I'm getting paid for it. I will take whatever I can here and there. But like in the do position for this weekend, something you can make sure you go for. I have the Knight of Swords upright. Like
Yeah, I like that.
Be able to be prepared to and able to handle a significant amount of volume.
Yes.
With all of what we kind of just talked about, it sets the stage to be able to do that in a way that's less stressful.
Yes.
Knight of Swords upright. Do anything else I see with that? I don't know. Check the list twice. Maybe pack like a day or 2 ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Then from just his little eyeball of the horse, like the guy's there, he's ready to go for it, but the horse is like, did you remember the things like that? Just
in the
prep, because I see that Knight of Swords as someone who doesn't always just rush in like the fool, and I think he does have a lot of stuff prepared, but yeah, arrive early. All that kind of stuff. It just seems it's gonna be busy, so do all that you can to prepare for that influx that you'll be experiencing. Yeah, cool. Okay, and something to not do. Do not. Oh, see, this is advice I would never give to someone if I wasn't reading cards. And I think it's maybe in the space of sort of what we were just talking about, like scheduling breaks. Because your question was, how do you make the most of it? Then your question was not, how do I preserve my mental health this weekend? So in the do not position, I have the Empress. So, and in the do position, I have the Knight of Swords. So in making the most of this weekend, do not the Empress. I will say, like, don't make the event a comfortable space for you. Don't not schedule so many bathroom breaks that you're dying and inside and stuff, but don't make it super reasonable, because you'll miss out on what you can really achieve. Like if there's a way that you can, I think that it in turn talks kind of about the scheduling and stuff. if like, don't give yourself an hour lunch break. Like really just that night is sort of like, take what you need and get back into it. This is all really about your advertising, you're doing your charts for people, being there completely fully and just ready to run off your damn feet, is I think how you can really make the most of it. It's not going to be a slow moving, like, oh, how are you doing? It's going to be quite bang, 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 sort of a thing. But yeah, do not expect it to be in, perhaps you're not, but don't give yourself any more free time really than you need to, is kind of what I see with that. Yeah. And then last part here about specifically about your talk. What advice is there about your talk? Interesting. Is it just a general talk about astrology? Or are you just...
Yeah, I mean, he's sort of like left it to me, like, you know, I mean, he's put down, oh, you're going to hear all about the planets and the signs and then that. I mean, it's a half an hour talk. So yeah, just an introduction to it, really. Yeah.
I would say the advice for that, instead of the aim being educational, use that as a half hour. Everyone in this room is going to want to book with me by the time this session is over, kind of thing.
Yes.
Making it showing, like, but also not so it's not worth their time. Like, they're not coming for a half hour advertisement. But what I really got, have the world card in reverse. So a tempering, but also a very, like, the person in the focus is like you, the woman in the center. What are you actually wanting to do with this talk? Well, yeah, I mean, there's all the signs, and we're going to talk about astrology and that sort of thing. But you're at the beginning, like you said, your Saturday morning. You could, you have your, you know, tell people very quickly, I'm over here to find me. I'm booking up very quickly. If you want a session with me over the next 2 days, I feel like you could have a good chunk of your day prepared and ready to go and booked from that particular talk. So, and I see it kind of in the sense of like weaving things in a way like, oh, you know, I'm talking about this sign or talking about this thing, and giving it a well-rounded presentation, but just throwing in little words like, if you want to know more, come see me, and blah, blah, blah. And, oh, this is how it would relate to you specifically. Like really weaving in the 3 things I'm offering are this, this, this. Maybe that's almost how you could set it up and talk about what each of those do and how you look at the charts and something like that. So they're still getting an education on what astrology can bring, but the focus being on what you can bring to them using astrology.
Yeah.
Something like that. So I think it looks like it's going to go very well, but that is a prime advertising opportunity.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Oh, thank you. There was quite a lot there that I'm going to kind of definitely add on my list.
Totally.
And I think the main thing is that you said get my bag packed a few days early. I'm definitely going to do that.
Yes.
I'm definitely going to do that. Yeah.
Totally. I think it's going to go great. I think it'll be very, the Knight of Swords, like cut through all of the chaos and just give her.
Yes. Thank you so much, Cassidy.
Awesome. Thank you. That was really fun. I'm expecting an update next week on how this all went.
Yes.
So probably you'll need the Empress on Monday next week, perhaps, but not for the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Sunday night.
Yeah.
Sunday night, I'll be the Empress and the 4 of Swords.
Yes. That's perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. That was great. Karen, my darling.
I don't know how to ask it, so bear with me.
I'm here to help.
So I do have a project that I feel driven to do. And for a while I had held back on it because like anytime I brought it up, somebody always had an idea, anybody, you know, you should do it like this, or you should do it like that, or no, you don't need to do it the way you want to do it. You need to write it. And we all know how I feel about writing. So I let that hold me back for a while, but I've been doing a lot of research, and I dive feet first in research.
Yeah,
I don't ever know when to quit. And the problem I'm having now, I finally decided, okay, I'm going to do it my way. If it turns into a book, it'll turn into a book after I've done it my way. because it's my project. So I feel like I'm being a little bit selfish, but now the problem I'm having is, and you guys will probably understand this completely. I've got so much damn research that if I do it with all the research, it'll turn into something dry and like everything else that's out there. I want it to be fun and light and about the stories, not about the psychological impact of the stories. There'll be some of that in there, but mainly it's about the damn stories and telling the stories well. So now I've got to go through and make it comprehensive, put it in order, because I've had to do the research in so many different places to get it together. How can I make it comprehensive with this damn Gemini moon and deliver it? And what's stopping me? Is it the overwhelming amount of information? Is it because I'm a pussy and I'm afraid to do it? What is stopping me and how do I overcome it? And how can I pull the information together in a Sharon way?
Do I put
Does that make
These
sense?
are great. 4 pointed questions. So I'm writing them down. How do I pull it together in a shared way? Fabulous. Oh, excellent, excellent, excellent questions. All right. So, yeah, you want to know. Now I'm just going to say what I heard.
Okay.
So, awesome project, which offering to other people just gives you their feedback, and you need to do this, you need to do that. Done a whole crap load of research, and now the mountain of research is sitting on top of you, and you want to know how you can get out from under it and start climbing it and putting it all together into nice little houses, kind of a thing. So you want to know how you can take all the work you've done so far and essentially distill it into something that is useful, something that is novel, something that, and in that distillation process, you actually enjoy what you're doing. It's not, yeah, okay, so I think you need to put that in there. Enjoy the process. Process is like what needs to be specifically included.
And it's one of those things I think, I don't think if I care if anyone else ever sees it come to life. I'm driven to bring it to life.
Yeah, totally. Passion project. I love it. Very, very cool. So you're wanting to make sure that you can tell these stories, put them in an order, make them comprehensive so it's not a dry, drab, boring. And that's it. Just in general, in a challenge of itself, when you're wanting to take a large topic that is dry and boring in many senses and make it not only enjoyable as a product, but enjoyable doing that process. Yeah, this is excellent. So your questions are, how can you make this project comprehensive? What's stopping you from doing it? Or I'll say like, identify the biggest obstacle that you're facing with this. How are you able to overcome said obstacle? How can you put it together in that it's authentically your way of doing it? And how can you enjoy that process? What needs to be included to make sure that you're actually enjoying what you're doing? Keep this passion project alive as a passion project and not as a, oh, I started it, so now I have to finish it kind of a deal. Excellent. Well, there's our spread. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just gonna straight up ask all those questions. I like that a lot. Okay. Fabulous.
Yeah, and some of the ideas were fantastic. I just don't have the means to implement them, and I don't want to wait until I'm rich to do this.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a huge thing that stops. Oh, I'll do this when I get this, when I do that. And it's like, stop putting these weird.
Yeah, I'm too driven by it to wait until I could pay someone to do another piece of it.
Totally.
Or was that you, Mandy, that was telling me work with what you have?
I don't think it was, but I do agree with that 100%. It could, it's something I definitely could have said, but I don't remember saying that.
I think it was. I think it was when you
Oh.
were looking at my perfections.
Ah, okay.
And that's what got me thinking, well, I need to
Okay.
work with what I have. I need to do it. Now what's
Yeah,
stopping me?
okay. So you see, when I'm doing readings, I'm channeling. I'm not.
Yeah, you're not fully there. I get it.
I was like, you said this. It's like, did I? Good thing it was recorded. I can go back.
And we weren't even talking about this particular project. She was just reading my perfections. So
That's very cool. Okay,
What
so
does
how
that
got me
mean, reading your
thinking hard.
perfection?
Huh?
What is reading your perfection?
It's an astrological Time Lord technique.
Oh.
Yes.
She was telling me about my year.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yes.
And
Very exciting stuff.
a lot of what she said I took away and applied to this project. And I
Right.
feel from what she said, I feel this project needs to be done this year.
Yeah. No, that was good when I did your perfections. It was quite thought-provoking.
Yes.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Mm.
She got that little pain in her thumb.
Yeah. There it is. Fabulous. Cool. Okay. Excellent questions. Let's get started. So how can you make it comprehensive, this project that you have so much research on? How can you make it comprehensive? Interesting. Getting a lot of things to say from this card. And the first one being like, sometimes when you ask a question and you lay a card and the card's like, you asked the wrong question. That's sort of the first mode I'm getting from this. And what I mean by saying that is there exists some natural order of this that you can use in making it comprehensive. But the first thing I'm getting from this card initially is like, it needs to be done one bit at a time, piece by piece, chunk by chunk, breaking it down into its smallest possible parts that it makes sense to do so. So if there exists a natural sectioning of the process when you're looking at it overall, like if you had how to make it comprehensive, I could say things like from this card in a very practical way, like make a flow chart, make a big web, a zoomed out view of what this is going to look like kind of overall, which that, while I think could be important and is a great way to just kind of start and work with projects, but this card is really saying making it comprehensive is not going to be done by trying to make it all comprehensive, but rather using the natural flow or the order that what your project has already weaved into it and working on the pieces individually, and then they will fit together after it's worked on bit by bit.
So
is that
yeah, because what it is it's my mythology of astrology. There's 12 natural pieces. It's the story for each avatar. So doing them one at a time, because I've researched all of them and now I'm like,
yeah, trying to now tackle all of them a little bit, or how do I fit this in like that? It needs to be literally done chunk by chunk by chunk by chunk, and then once the chunks are all done, then it can be made comprehensive. That's why I said, like, I'm asking the wrong question, is that it's not something to do to actually make this a comprehensive thing. It's like you do each individual thing and then it will be comprehensive on its own after it's little bits.
thank you. Okay, that right there.
Yeah. It's yes.
Very
that-
overwhelming looking at all the pieces parts and going, holy shit, what have I gotten myself into?
Mhm. Okay, so it exists in a natural order of such things. That's very cool. Okay, so this is all coming yours truly from the Queen of Pentacles reversed.
All right.
Working with the natural order that exists within a system, but one thing at a time. Yeah, that just seems like that. And it's interesting that that's not the how do I tackle it answer. It's the making it comprehensive answer. You know, so that's why again, what I'm saying, I asked the wrong question. Is the goal at this point is not to create a comprehensive project. The goal at this point is to make each of these little bits their own little comprehensive nugget.
Gotcha.
So if you cannot look at this project as an overwhelming whole, but say my project is the story of the Gemini twins. That is the project. And then this one. Once you have all the little bits, squish them together in some sort of natural order using what you can. But the project, looking at the project as a whole is kind of the wrong way to look at it, I think, at this time.
Okay, that actually helped immensely already.
Awesome, we're one card in. Cool, that's super interesting. Okay, I like that a lot. So question 2, what's stopping you from doing it, or the biggest obstacle that you're facing?
If it's the Queen of Wands, I'm a pussy. No. Sorry.
That's not the one. Oh. Okay, hold on here. I'm also going to, I really feel like I need to look at card 4 in terms of how you can put this together in a Sharon way, because I want to see what it says. Yeah, okay. Interesting, very interesting. Oh my gosh. I think there exists a very big, if not the biggest obstacle, because we're asking about the biggest obstacle you're facing in a belief, in a buying into an idea that in order to get this done, you need a plan, that you need a structure, that you need a start date, that you need an end date. Even remember what I said with that Queen of Pentacles, like I could say to you to make a big plan and make a flow chart, but that's not your biggest obstacle. Is a regimented plan of trying to do something. I don't think you operate in a way of plans and organized charts necessarily and deadlines, and you can, but with this project, it's going to F up the flow big time. What I'm seeing as the obstacle to it is making this thing anything other than a passion project. I'm enjoying doing this. The obstacle would be, I need to get this done by this time because I need to get it done by the end of this month or this year. Oh, it's in my plan to make it this thing. I have the Emperor card as your biggest obstacle. Right?
Yeah.
So it just seems like trying to do this as a form-fitting project of sorts like that, trying to make it an Emperor type project is the wrong way to go about it. Does that make some sense? I feel like if you're trying, and that's a weird piece of advice to give someone who's trying to accomplish something, saying making a plan for it's going to fuck it all up, you know?
It does totally make sense because, I mean, I don't do well with structure and regimen. And plus, too, you know, part of me wants to be taken seriously, but the way I deliver is not a very Emperor type of way. And
Yeah.
so I think I'm like sending mixed signals to myself, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense.
Yeah. If you're trying to make this project an Emperor type project, it's going to keep squishing it. It's not meant to be an Emperor type project. It's meant to be more of a Queen of Pentacles type of a project.
All right.
Sort of a thing. Yeah. So we'll see what else comes out in the spread in terms of advice, but like, the biggest obstacle seems to be trying to make it regimented in some fashion or another, which is
Gotcha.
again, that's not advice I would say to someone. But making a plan is going to mess it all up. It's interesting. And that's why I wanted to in that card. So how can you put it together in a way that is your own and not anyone else's? It's also a very like, what do I even want to say with this particular card? I will come back to that. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to keep going as I've asked the cards. We'll get there in a moment. So how can you overcome the Emperor? Okay, I have the Queen of Cups in reverse.
Jeez.
Interesting, because I've got, you know, the Queen of Pentacles reverse. Like to me you're a Queen of Wands, Queen of Swords type of lady. So the fact that I'm getting the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups is just kind of showing the nature with which I think this project kind of needs to be allowed to happen. But isn't that a perfect match for getting over the Emperor? Something like the Queen of Cups reversed. It's almost like certainly finding your own flow in a structure. But as soon as you do something like putting deadlines or making dates or putting an unnecessary pressure on yourself because you need to produce, turning this into something that has to be manufactured with certain targets and deadlines, getting over that. How do you do that? Being the Queen of Cups reversed. It sounds so stupid, but just like letting this project just flow naturally when you have the time to, when you have some space in the day to just do nothing more maybe than saying, this chunk of time I'm going to do it. But what I accomplish in that chunk of time is yet to be seen. I have a chunk. So I know from that Queen of Pentacles reverse, I know today I'm looking at the Gemini twins. And I'm not emperoring it by saying I need to get this many paragraphs done or I need to condense this part of the story. I'm Queen of Cupsing it. What am I taking with those Gemini twins? And I have 3 hours to look at it. So a sense of it still has a container, but what you want to accomplish, I think is really going to be how it can come together in a way that's authentically more so like you. Because it's going to say, I've got 3 hours to be Sharon on these on these particular symbols and these stories. What is it that now I bring to the table? Does that make sense?
It actually does, especially with the way my schedule changes a lot, you know, just and grab time as I have it instead of wasting time.
Certainly. And I'm not saying to not like, don't treat this as something that only fits in kind of when you have time necessarily, but still giving it a little bit of structure so that, you know, that Queen of Cups is very focused and like, hey, at this particular time, I know what I'm doing. I still have a goal and I still have an intent, but I'm not driven by what that goal or what that outcome has to be like with that particular Emperor.
It does feel a bit, the Queen of Cups reversed to me feels that because she's telling stories, it does feel a bit like, and it does come away from the Emperor to allow yourself, Sharon, to maybe feel the kind of emotional pain of the characters in those stories.
That's how I tell the stories when I have the proper time to tell them. Like when I did that workshop, it was all, you know, each story had 10 minutes and I felt very constricted and like I couldn't really tell the story. But the problem is I tend to take some creative license with those stories and insert emotion.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that is the way I tell a
otherwise
story.
it's like a textbook, isn't it? But this is yes.
This is not an Emperor project. We have Emperor with the two lovely flowing, you know, excellent
so allow
queens
the
on.
story to flow and the emotion to be present in the story instead of giving facts. Take a little creative license, but let people know when I'm, you know, taking creative license.
Totally.
The story of the Gemini twins is, I can't tell it without crying.
Wow. That's amazing. So yeah, putting that sort of spin on it seems so key. And then too here, so what is this one? How do you put together in a you way? I have the 4 of Swords. which I think is kind of coming to light too, with what we've kind of already talked about with the queens. But that you already said you've like stopped other people from letting you, these other people are out the window and they're yipper yapping and they're not invited in. So you've already said you're cutting off other people from throwing their input on that. And I think that's a really excellent way. The other thing about that card, which is kind of interesting, and it maybe because it's sitting beside that Queen of Cups reverse, that it's getting all intuitive-y, dreamy, and flowy. I would just say as an exercise, if you can, in your chunk of what you're working on, read one of the stories and like sleep on it and wake up the next morning and see what other wires are crossed, what other connections are made. I'm not saying you need to dream about it, but just that time of day when you're about to go to bed and when you first wake up is kind of in a large way fundamentally yours. There already is that separation from other people. You don't talk to someone the second you wake up unless we have a meeting and we've woken you up. or like, there's a little more, it's kind of your space. So that's what I would give that a try.
Say that, because with the Leo story for the workshop, I was annoyed with the Leo story massively, and I wasn't getting anything out of it. And the night before the workshop, I kept waking up by somebody going, Athena! And it was pissing me off. And so I finally was like, okay, I'm not sleeping. I'm going to figure out what the hell is going on with Athena. And Athena was key to understanding what Leo meant. Like, freaking key. I was like, oh my God. So yeah, that makes sense.
Never said that about that card before. That's fascinating. Thank you for sharing that. Wow.
Yeah, I woke up like 5 times with someone yelling in my ear, Athena. And when I went back and looked at the story and saw the very small part Athena had played in the story, I was like, oh my God.
Damn. That's amazing. Well, okay. So I have my last card here. What needs to be included? How can you enjoy the process? And spoiler alert, I have one more card, as I just was like, what's the message for Sharon about this project, which is the last card that I will flip over in a second. But the first card is, what needs to be included? How do you enjoy the part of the process?
I probably don't need to put all the family trees in. I got family trees, y'all. I just don't know when to stop.
There's a part of this that does show, I would certainly say, intentionally excluding some things that are just not entertaining, exciting, not the part of the story you want to express, and not in the way of changing and or cherry picking a story, but like if you're reading something and it feels like a drag and it kind of feels useless to what you're trying to do, just straight up ignore it. And you can maybe add a side note or add a little thing saying, oh, there's for yourself or for the end of the project, for more on this, there's this part. But like spending time diving into stuff just because it's there, because you need to have a full amount of knowledge before you can do it, is like, there's some things that really don't need to be there. There's certainly some things where you have enough information as you go. There's also something about the Libra story, and or for me to say like
Libra drove me nuts for over a year. I finally got the very coolest information on Libra that is so exciting to me. But Libra in and of itself is not a story of a hero. It's a story about how Libra came to be after the Greeks and Sumerians. It's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Libra was not a sun sign until the Romans. And it bothers me.
Interesting. Yeah, I got the 6 of coins reversed. So that's part of where I'm saying like there needs to be a like selective exclusion of some things. That's just not worth your time. But like these, they just keep boop, 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 boop.
Libra
So I was like,
doesn't fit because of
Something
when it
the
was,
story.
yeah. It's exciting, but it's not a story of emotion, a story of a person. It's a story of the sign itself.
Interesting.
It's different from all the others.
That's super cool. Yeah. So in terms of enjoying the process, yeah, chop out that which is not making you as excited as you are right now when you're saying like, this part is so cool. And I don't know, at first I had said start with the Libra story, but I'm like, maybe you finish with it. I don't know. It just seemed relevant.
It's different. It does not fit with all the others, but it is exciting to me.
Talk about Libra story not fitting with all the others. This particular card, how cool is that? Wow. So interesting. Okay, the last card, I just wanted to know what message was there for you about this project?
Wow.
Are you serious?
Oh, wow.
Dang.
Amazing.
Whoa. This is like, do I need to say more?
No.
Whoa. Seriously.
That is so kind of like just jump into it and do it. So Aries. And isn't the Emperor in his fall in Aries or detriment or something? Not the Emperor. Oh, the Emperor. No, the Emperor is Aries. I'm thinking Saturn. Isn't Saturn in his fall in Aries?
Yeah.
That's what I meant. And I do feel Saturn and the Emperor kind of.
I see the Emperor as more Saturn than Aries
Yeah.
any day of the week.
Yeah, I don't see the Emperor and the Ace of Wands as being the same thing. I think they're very different to each other, you know? And that Ace of Wands is really moving away from the Emperor a lot, I think.
I mean, so the message about this project, absolutely, Mandy said it. Go for it. Do this thing. This is a keyword passion project card right there. Like this is a giant do it. Absolutely. But make it you by cutting people out, seeing what kind of comes in that sleep time space, cutting people out, cutting things out that are irrelevant, setting apart the time to just, I'm going to work on something and we'll see what happens in this chunk of time. It doesn't need to be done by some artificial date. Don't make it a pain in the ass, other than chunk by chunk, piece by piece. I will start with this one. And you don't have to do them in order. Queen of Cups reverse isn't doing them in order. She's doing them as she's drawn to do a particular story at a certain time. But
I think I needed to hear that.
And when you feel like it's complete or you're done with it, then you can put that nugget aside and pick up the next one. So that would be what I have for you about this beautiful project, which I'm so excited for you about. How often
I
does
needed
someone
that shot of enthusiasm.
That's amazing. Well, what an amazing reading.
Thank you, Cassidy. That helped on so many levels.
Thank you so much. That was a great question. What exciting readings I've got to do for you all today. This has been great.
That was brilliant. Really brilliant.
Fun.
I'm proud of you, Cassidy.
Me too.
Thanks. This was so much fun. Wonderful. Well, thank you all for joining our mini reading event. This has been great. Probably going to go have some lunch now. I'm starving. But yeah, the next one will be next month. I don't know is it Mandy? I think
Mandy.
I think it could be me. Could well be me. Yeah.
Yeah, full circle. We're going back to Mandy.
Yeah, I
We've
was
been
the
doing
last
this
one
for 4 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very, very cool. Wonderful. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest.
Okay. So I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, I will see you at our meeting tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'm getting confused because it's Monday, but it feels like Sunday. So I'm going to be all wonky this week.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Totally.
Are you coming to the moons, Kevin? The moon on Wednesday.
What's that?
The moon recording.
The Astro Tarot, Lunar.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yes. Oh, those ones. They're at like 10 something, right, Sharon?
9.
9 o'clock. Yeah.
9. They're at 9. Okay, so that's no, I won't be able to because I'm on the at work during those times. But yeah, unless if we get a Wednesday off or I'm not feeling well and I don't go to school, then I'll join you.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we've got our podcast tomorrow afternoon, so if you're coming to that, we'll see you.
Oh yes, the
Oh, that's
podcast. I forgot about
right.
that. Tomorrow night is a podcast.
Oh my gosh, that's right. I don't have those in my calendar yet. Oh my goodness, yes. And they're all the same link. I've got that somewhere in a message. I think I got that in Cassidy's message.
Isn't
right?
it meant to be Harley doing joining us tomorrow because it's about tarot in different cultures and things?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's neat.
That'll be really.
Yeah. Then I will definitely try to join that. So it's 3 to 4, right? 3 to 4?
Yes.
8 o'clock UK. So yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. Tomorrow.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's perfect because I'll just head straight up from school and I'll be in the parking lot. So I'll be there for the whole hour. So we'll be good. Or at least 50 minutes. So.
Okay.
Awesome.
Marvelous. All right. I'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye, everybody. Enjoy.
Have a good one.
Thank you, Cassidy.